Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 3, Episode 1 of So What's New in the Biscuit Tin. I'm Jess.
And I'm Sam.
And we are so excited to welcome you back for another season. We have missed you. We needed a little bit more time to get our ducks in a row than planned because, tis the way of ducks. But we are back now and super excited to be talking to you about all things sewing.
I'm doing jazz hands as we speak of excitement. Yeah, we've given you, while we've been away, some of our bonus content that was originally for our Biscuit Tin members, and they'd had it a good few months, and we thought we'll share it with all of you. So we hope that you've enjoyed the mini episodes to keep you going. If you like them, then why not become a member? Because alongside bonus episodes, you get extended episodes and a monthly newsletter. We've got a lot of great members as well, haven't we, Jess? We've had some really nice messages from them.
We do.
And we're busy working on the next.
We do. We're very, very lucky to have such a wonderful community. We are so excited to see it growing, and we are today about to start going out for our discounts. So if you don't know, we send a monthly newsletter. It contains lovely discounts as well as everything Sam and I are loving in the sewing community and beyond.
Yeah, so we try sometimes to do different themes to our newsletter, and we're always up for suggestions as well. We love to hear what people would want to see. If not, you just get Jessie's nice choice, don't you?
Yes, you do.
And the bonus episodes can really vary. Sometimes it's a pair of us together, and sometimes, like the ones we've released recently, it's just me having a little mini rant on my own, which I can do. I can talk to myself.
Yeah, sometimes
for 30
I leave her to just... Yes.
I do it regularly, talk to myself on my own. So at least I know people are listening.
There has been a dearth of episodes from me, I will say, but there are more bonus episodes from me on the horizon. Sam very kindly took up the gauntlet last year while I was wedding sewing. So I think there's a little backlog to come from me, really, aren't there, next few months?
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll come up with some reason why I can't do them. Let's hope it's a good reason. Like you had. So, Jess, I think we should start, seeing as our last episode was before Christmas, with what we got for Christmas. And also, both of us have had our birthdays as well, haven't we?
We have. Now, I'll be honest, lads, this will mostly be Sam, because literally no one got me anything sewing related at all.
I'm going to put in
nothing.
I'm going to insert some sad violin music for you. Little sad violin music over this.
I should say, I did get some beautiful Christmas presents, and I'm very lucky and very thought of. But from a sewing perspective, absolutely, none of my favourite phrases for that are available. Absolutely nothing.
Aww.
Nothing at all sewing related. So anyway, I'm going to hand over to Sam. What did you get?
You got pattern weights from me. I gave you pattern weights.
I did.
So, Jess, I think it's probably best if we start talking about Christmas, as we haven't done any content since then, and we've both had our birthdays as well.
That's true. I have to start by saying I had very limited Christmas gifts. I obviously got my fabulous pattern weights from you, which I love and have been using loads.
I saw them in an Instagram post.
Yes, well, they're great. They're really, really good. I'm not used to having pattern weights, so it's taking me a bit of time to remember I have them. Normally when I'm standing on fabric and cutting around it, and I'm like, you have pattern weights. But I didn't get anything else sewing related, but I have a funny feeling you might have.
Well, only because I'm very good at giving very clear instructions to my other half. We have a WhatsApp group between my other half and my stepdaughter called Present Ideas, and everyone sends presents there. So I'm like, I like this, I like these, I like this. And then he can choose from the selection. And then he's like, what else do you want? I said, I'll send you a list of places I want vouchers from. From one family member, I got a voucher for CLC Prints. Another family member, I got a voucher for a fabric shop, and so on. So I got the metric pattern cutting book, which I really wanted. That's a really interesting read.
Ooh.
And I got some surprise presents as well. I got a cool pair of Yoda earrings. I know that's not sewing related, but it's nice when you get a random surprise like that. I did put those in the newsletter, I think, the January newsletter. I did get vouchers, which I've already spent, including a CLC Prints voucher, so that was good. And I was able to buy myself some fabric because I was given some money as well, which is nice. I'm sure I got some other sewing, but I can't remember them. I got Lego for my birthday, amazing Lego set. So
Fantastic. I got mostly books for Christmas, which was lovely, to be fair.
That's nice.
It's I don't really mind when my family and friends don't get me sewing stuff.
Mm.
Because I'd rather, I'd rather have a gift where they've really thought about it, and that's really, really lovely. But that being said, whenever I do put sewing stuff on my list, no one buys it for me anyway, so I have kind of given up a little bit. But I did get a wonderful handmade present from my grandma for my birthday, who knitted me the most beautiful jumper. It's on my Instagram.
Well, yes, it's stunning. I saw the pictures.
Isn't it gorgeous? And it's so cozy. And someone who knows a lot more about knitting patterns than I do has gone through and has found which pattern it is. And they've posted it in the comments. So it's there if you need it, guys.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, no, I'm really it's really lovely. It's really cozy. And of course, it's always lovely to have something that is grandma made. So at least I got a sort of crafty present, which is absolutely
nice,
lovely.
Yeah. It'll probably come back to me, the other things I've got. I'm trying to picture them now. They've gone out my head. I'll tell you what, we've played the game that you bought me for Christmas, Patchwork, quite a few times. Loving it.
Isn't it
It's
great?
a great game. Yeah, so definitely recommend that. Really nice 2-player game. Tilly and I have loved playing that together several times.
It's a great game. It's really, really good.
And I did get another game for Christmas, actually. So we've already got a game called Wingspan. And they which is this beautiful game, and it's all pictures of birds from around the world on it, and you have to collect various birds for different things. It's sort of a deck building.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's amazing. And they released a dragon version, and I got it for Christmas, and it's called Wurmspan, where Wurm is German for dragon. So although it's by the same people, so you think it's just the dragon version, it isn't. It's really quite different, which is nice. Cool. That was a surprise when we got it out to play it, and we're like, hang on a minute, what's this extra board here? And what's these things here? And both games have eggs, because obviously dragons and birds lay eggs, but the dragon version, they're these beautiful small wooden eggs. They're the size of mini eggs with a flat bottom, so they stand up. But they've got gorgeous gold specks in them, or the pieces are just beautiful in it. Do you want a bit more of a game information? I know it's not about sewing, but...
Of course I do.
So I got Ben for Christmas this game, which has come highly recommended. It's called Terraforming Mars. So basically the game is... It's an actual map of one side of Mars. So you've got all like those different bits, like they've got the names, haven't they? I'm not very good at remembering it, but... And you go through all these cycles over thousands of years as you try and make Mars habitable for humans. So, like, the temperature level goes up, the oxygen level goes up. The first time I played it...
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
It is amazing, but the first time I played it, because we were learning how to play it, it took nearly 3 hours. So we thought, it's just because we're learning it. So we played it again. It still took 2.5 hours. We were like, wow, this is quite intense. So,
oh my God, that sounds amazing, though.
It's really, I love it. I love all the different cards, and we've got quite a lot of these games where you've got to play them a few times to understand the different types of cards and the different things that can happen to get the point of the game. You can't just play them like first go and get it. And the Wingspan and Wurmspan and Wingspan even have this is how to have your first round of the game so you can understand it. They literally take you through it.
Wow, okay.
If anyone's looking for a board game that will consume good chunks of your time, Terraforming Mars is the game, is what I would say.
See, I think that sounds amazing. Can I also add a game to the list, but I hope it doesn't give anyone too many flashbacks? I have had the joy and the privilege over Christmas of playing the game Pandemic with my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and Adam, and it's actually such a good game.
It's brilliant.
It's a proper community, like, collaborative game. You play together, you don't play against each other. And it was so funny. Adam's sister was like, yeah, we play this game because we're both really competitive. So it's the only game we can play with the two of us where we don't end up having a row.
Yep. That's
a recommendation from our house.
I literally played that 3 days ago. It is my stepdaughter's favourite game of all time. She loves it. So we love.
You know what? That's so cool, and I can see why she loves it.
Yeah,
it is we've never played it before, and it's such a laugh.
If you like collaborative games, there's Escaping Forbidden Desert and Escaping Forbidden Forest, and they're similar but different in that as a team you've got to collect the pieces and put the machine together to escape. So you are having to constantly discuss, if you go in that direction and I'll go in this. And it really helps if you've got overly competitive people in your family like we have.
See, I love that. I felt the same about Patchwork, because although Patchwork is competitive, I have, ladies and gentlemen, I assume there might be some sewing gentlemen out there, so hello. I have the misfortune of being married to someone who is just good at everything.
Oh.
He's good at every single game. And
Tell me
it's
about
not
it,
like he's trying. He's not competitive. He's just incredible at it. So like any game, I think it's from a lifetime of like PS4 and PC desktop and strategy gaming, you know. But he picks up games so quickly and he's so good at them. And what we like about Patchwork is that it's half point accumulation, but it's half strategy and filling up your quilt.
Yeah.
And there's a real knack to it. So we find that actually, because of the way when you finish, you have all of your buttons on one side that's like your currency, and then all of your empty squares on your Patchwork grid count as a minus number of points. It's actually really hard to win consistently.
Yeah.
Which is really good for us because it means it's very like balanced and even.
Now, I live with someone who tries really hard and is generally pretty good, but also is incredibly competitive. And if he sees that it looks like other people are winning, the rest of the game he just makes you feel bad because he's annoyed that he's not winning. So we like any game where you can't quite tell who might win.
Patchwork was good I can for see that.
Yeah. And so we've got some other games where he can't keep track of everything, so he doesn't really know. Dominion is amazing for that. If you've never played that, I'll have to lend it to you. It's a deck building game and you can't keep track of what people are doing. So that's Tilly's second favourite.
That sounds great. Well, the thing is, there is something fun about not knowing who's going to win because then it feels less inevitable, you know? And it's like, for me, I really struggle when I know who's going to win. And like, it's not that I'm competitive, but I just don't like the vibe. Like, it feels like everything I'm doing is sort of playing out time rather than actually taking part.
You're not a fan of like doing something where you could be doing something more purposeful with that time.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the point? And I know that sounds ludicrous, but yeah.
No, that's very you, but I had an epiphany over the Christmas break about myself.
Okay.
So in our family, winning does not often come my way when we're playing these games.
Right.
I'm quite easygoing and not very competitive generally. So, you know, I'm just bumbling along, having a go. Sometimes I give it a try, you know, and I'm just enjoying like hanging out with people. But I've realised that then when I do win, it's like a really special day. So actually,
that's so nice.
So I've actually decided that I think maybe my mindset is like the most like fortuitous one, because most of the time I'm just having a lovely time with people and know I probably won't win. So I'm never disappointed about it because I just know that's what's going to happen. And then when I do win, it's like an extra special day then. And I'm mostly surprised.
That's really beautiful. See, I never expect to win games, partially because my dad is irritatingly good at board games. So certain games were banned in our house growing up because he was so irritatingly good. Like, my dad is the kind of person who can play Cluedo for 5 minutes and he knows who's won. And he'll sit there, though, saying, I know who it is. I know. And you're like, oh, my God.
I'll be quiet.
And the annoying thing is, he does. And you're just like, it would be fine if he was wrong, but he isn't. And that makes it really irritating. So I don't really expect to win games, but I am much more competitive with games such as things like Articulate or Pictionary, or like, I don't know, because that's so much more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm very competitive playing cards because I'm good at playing cards. So like, I know how to do it, but I think it's self-competition where I'm like, oh, come on, you can do this better than
so
you
are very much like that with yourself, yeah. So you say certain games were banned in your family for that. My other half's family, his mum banned a game called the Really Nasty Horse Racing Game because he cheated so wickedly at it. She was so horrified with him, she refused to ever let it be played in the house again.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and he admitted that as a child, he memorised all the answers to dingbats, but then realised that actually, A, it ruined the game for him, and B, he then sometimes had to get the question wrong so that no one cottoned on to the fact that he'd memorised them all. I mean, come on.
Do you know what? I really empathise with that though. And that's because I was, okay, never play cards with me. This was actually, no, never play cards with me for money, because my dad taught me to read cards.
Yes,
and
my
to
granddad
read
does that,
decks and count cards and memorise them, because my dad does it automatically. So he taught me to do it, so he had someone to play cards with.
Yeah, my granddad
because he was like, then it's fair.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't always do it, and I try not to, but you will notice if I'm ever in any kind of game with memorising, and if I'm not doing very well or someone annoys me, then I will suddenly go, okay, right, no, we're going to turn on this now. But it was in my dad's wedding speech where he was like, she's good at cards, hold on to your cash.
He did mention that,
I was like, you made me this way. Like, this is literally your fault. But I totally understand that I should memorise all of this, because it's much easier than actually figuring it out.
Yeah.
You just go, I remember.
And I'm just there for the ride most of the time. And every now and again, I try a little bit. But you would like Dominion. Tilly won't tell you her strategy, though, but she has a strategy and she wins almost every time. But we can't work it out. Yeah.
So. Amazing. Oh, my God, that's... that sounds so good. So...
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I can't even speak now. Contrary to popular belief, this is a sewing and biscuit related podcast, but we've had a lovely time. So, Sam, what biscuit do you think you are today?
Well, we got a lovely hamper from Ben's brother-in-law for Christmas, and in it was a shortbread biscuit sandwich with some kind of salted caramel filling. It was like melty in the mouth but chewy at the same time. It was
incredible.
Quite a Christmas level biscuit, I have to say. I'm feeling that today.
Oh.
I mean, you can see me. People generally listening won't. I have kind of gone Beetlejuice vibes with my outfit. She looks
like a
today.
mint humbug today.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
And I say that with love.
I'm feeling the vibes today of like something quite unusual. So, and I've got a different shade green trouser on as well. I've got many shades of green today. So, yeah, I'm feeling that unusual sandwich biscuit. Yeah. What about you?
So I think I am my special occasion biscuit, because, to drum roll, please. I did my very first, thank you. I did my very first interview of my PhD data collection today. Which is so exciting, because I'm doing a longitudinal study, and for anyone who doesn't know what that means the next year of my life will be this. But it is such an enormous milestone to hit. I've officially started data collection, so my data collection will run roughly for the next year.
Wow.
Because it's sort of 6 to 9 months for the participants, but obviously the participants are all staggered. So for me, it's about a year, which is so exciting. I did my first interview tonight. I have 4 more this week, and then I've got a few next week, and I'm still actively recruiting participants.
I saw on your Instagram.
Do a tiny research
Please
plug?
do. Yes, go for it.
Because I just found out people listen to this podcast while running. Someone tagged me on Strava, which I meant to tell you. Someone tagged me on Strava.
That is exciting.
Being like this. She's really, really lovely, and I do know her on Instagram as well, but she tagged me on Strava going, use this podcast to get through my run today. And I was like, nice. I'm so glad we could help. Talking about biscuits, maybe it's visualization for the end. But yes, if you happen to be an ultra runner, so a runner who runs races longer than 26.2 miles, 42.2k, or races longer that are designed to be completed in longer than 6 hours, and you have a run planned or a race planned this year, please get in touch with me on Instagram, because I would love for you to take part in a study all about why or how running ultramarathons can affect the way we look at life and our behaviours and attitudes. So that is my little plug. I'll shut up about research now. But as a result of... today has been momentous, which is why I feel like my special occasion biscuit, which is a Fox's honeycomb. They're just so good.
They're good, so good.
The other thing is that today, the implementation project I have been working on since the 7th of January last year has officially gone live today.
Hey, I feel like when I came to your house and recorded last year, you'd been in a meeting about that before I came to your house.
Yeah, yes. Almost definitely. Yeah. I have been in a meeting about that almost hourly for the last year. It has been the most enormous project, and I can't quite believe we've done it. Obviously, we now have a couple of weeks of everyone going, I don't know how this works, and us going, it's okay. But it is so exciting, and it's such an awesome change, and I'm really, really excited. So yes, special occasion biscuits all day round.
Yeah.
Can I also, another bit of biscuit news?
Oh, go for it.
I don't know if this counts as a biscuit or not, and I need your advice.
Go on.
And I'm saying I need your advice, but I also need the advice of all of our Scottish listeners, of which I know there are many. Does a Tunnocks caramel wafer count as a biscuit?
I love a Tunnocks caramel wafer. Do you know they do dark version of those now?
So, yes, to me that's sacrilege, but yes, I do know they do.
I don't like them, but
I'm sure they're delicious. Well, I didn't realise they sold them in Sainsbury's, because obviously when you fly up to Orkney, you get a one on the plane for free.
Yeah, maybe.
They come around with a cup of tea, because there's only about 12 of you on the plane. So they come around with a cup of tea and a Tunnocks caramel wafer or a Walker's shortbread. Don't tell Mary they haven't got her shortbread brand of choice on the plane.
I was horrified. There was no shortbread to buy when she went to the factory last time. Absolutely horrible.
Well, that's because she's bought them out. You know, it's all in her living room.
But did you like your wedding present from Mary?
I do have the most beautiful shortbread-themed teapot from Mary that I will put a photo of on the Instagram because it's beautiful.
She made
and I do have a thank you
lady
card
at the
for her
factory
as well.
Get it down off a special shelf just for you.
Bless her. It's a lovely teapot, to be fair. It's a nice size. It's a shame you don't drink tea, otherwise I could make biscuit tea for us when you come over and record. You know? Maybe I'll make like a different tea that you would drink that isn't like caffeinated.
So, Tunnocks, not sure if they are a biscuit. On that subject, Tunnocks tea cakes, which obviously have the word cake in them, but have a biscuit bottom, don't they? Do you want to know something funny that happened over Christmas?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So my other half had a week extra off work than I did. I worked right up to Christmas Eve. So he was in charge of shopping. Right. We played Christmas dinner roulette. It was only the two of us. So I said to him, I'm not ordering anything. You can go out 2 days before, whatever M&S have got on the shelf, you can pick and get something. Because we've had lovely things. They do like lamb and beef things called like Guard of Honour and all sorts of crazy things. So, and I said, oh, can you get these bits as well? And I said, can you get tea cakes? Well, I was thinking toasted tea cakes for breakfast.
Yes, you were thinking of the sort of what at any other time
ready
of year
one with
doesn't
raisins
have a hot cross bun on it, but is basically a hot cross bun.
He came home all proud and showed me a very large pack of Tunnocks tea cakes, the sweet, delicious version. And I went,
for anyone who doesn't know what their Tunnocks tea cake is, firstly, go and eat one.
Yeah.
They are a biscuit base with a marshmallow on top, all coated in chocolate.
And they're thin.
And
they are
as far from a toasted tea cake as you could get.
And I went, I was hoping to have tea cakes for breakfast. And he went, look, I know you like sweet things. I thought it'd be this variety. I went, how weird that when I said the word tea cake, your brain went to that, not the bread version. And I went,
I don't know. That's where I would have gone.
I didn't know I needed to say, because tea cake is a tea cake. What do I put? The toasting variety? What do you write on a shopping list?
No, you put toasted tea cake. That's what they're called.
But they're not toasted in the shop. Cake,
no, but they're the type you toast. Because the Tunnocks kind are the kind... I honestly, my grandparents would turn around to you in the winter, in the afternoon, and go, would you like a toasted tea cake? And off, and then they would toast you one.
But they're offering to toast you the tea cake. It's still called a tea cake.
No, but they wouldn't eat it in any other state.
I do. I love it with just a bit of butter on soft.
Well, I'm now having a moment where I didn't realise they weren't just called toasted tea cakes on the shelf, because is that not what they are?
They're just called tea cakes.
I assumed that's what they were.
So,
to be fair, actually, if I was asking Adam to buy some, I would say tea cakes, brackets, the weird hot cross bun type things.
I was working, he was off gallivanting around Buckinghamshire buying Christmas food. So,
I mean, at least he came back with something.
Yes, and he came back, it was all chuffed. So I made my way through 12 of the chocolate-coated tea cakes through the Christmas period instead. But can we take a minute for the fact that Marks and Spencer's now do one of those, like the biscuit-based fluff inside ones, that's a salted caramel one. I haven't tried it yet, but...
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So,
See, one of the sadnesses of my life is that I can't eat Tunnocks tea cakes anymore because there's egg white in the marshmallow because they make them traditionally. But I remember having them as a kid and being like, what is this? Because obviously they are the most bizarre item. They're fabulous, but they're bizarre.
I can't imagine who came up with that and why. Yeah.
I have a fun Tunnocks tea cake fact.
Oh, go for it.
You can't serve them on planes.
You told us this in season 1.
Would you like to know why? I have told you this in season 1. So listeners from season 1, say it now. If not, new listeners, hazard a guess. Did you guess it's because they explode? Because if you didn't, you are wrong. They do.
Go back and listen to season 1, listeners.
Yes, I talk about this a lot more. I won't go into it. But that is one of my favourite biscuit facts in the world.
Yeah, it's a great fact. I love that.
You can't have marshmallows on planes.
Yeah. Have you ever microwaved a marshmallow?
To have them on the side.
Have you ever microwaved a marshmallow?
I have, and it's carnage. Yes. Absolute carnage. I have to say, it's something I miss as an adult. But we used to toast marshmallows all the time because we had so many barbecues all year round. Even when it was raining, my dad still barbecued with an umbrella taped to the barbecue. You know, like it was barbecuing is because I want to barbecue. Yeah. Obviously, if it was sunny, he'd just come home with coals from Tesco's and be like, right, barbecue night, you know, like we're doing it. But when we went up to the caravan, because the caravan oven was rubbish, so we'd just have this little B&Q barbecue outside with a golf umbrella cable tied to it. And it could be absolutely chucking it down. You'd still like have a barbecue. But we had these amazing old like Victorian skewers that must have been about a foot long. They were enormous and they were like iron and really, really like robust. But they had these amazing like if you imagine like a Roman coin with like a side profile and it's all sort of wiggly and like pressed. That's what they were like on the head of all of them. And we all used to fight over who got the dog one. But they were long enough that you could sit down quite comfortably and just sort of waft it near the barbecue. And the end would entirely explode into this enormous marshmallow and it would like mushroom out. But I didn't realise how little that would happen in my adult life. So I am very excited one day to own a house and barbecue constantly.
Yes.
So I can toast things.
Get your fill again. Now, I think we ought to get on to some sewing chat.
I think we should half an hour in.
Yeah, so we'll do a bit of sewing chat and then we'll get on to the theme. Because honestly, listeners, I promise you, we did plan a theme for today. I know we haven't got to it yet, but there was one, I promise.
I suggest that we do the theme first and intersperse the sewing chat, because I think it might come up quite naturally.
Okay, I am worried how long this theme is, how much this is going to trigger you, I think.
Yeah, and do you know what, folks? She's right to be worried. So I'm going to be good. Sam has seen something on Facebook.
Yeah, I have. Now,
and that's where I think we should start.
Now, before I share that with you, I'm going to be really mean and tell me one thing you're planning to sew this spring. Just one thing, very briefly.
I have cut out a Vicky Sews Andy, another one, but it's in the light-coloured jersey I used for the True Bias Bryn.
Ooh,
because...
Nice.
And this is another thing I'm angry about. 1.6 metres spare.
I saw you ranting about
1.6?
that.
1.6? I could wear it like a cloak. Like, I'm a 5'2" woman. And it told me to buy 2.6 metres. And I was doing a pattern review. I was like, I'll behave, I'll be good. But seriously, I was like, right, I'll buy it as well because I don't sew jersey very often. So I was like, it might shrink. It's not a very stretchy jersey. I really want to make sure I do this right. Pre-wash. I even pre-washed it.
I'm very proud.
I was so well behaved. I went to cut it out and I'm so angry. I'm having a coughing fit.
Yes.
And I literally laid the pattern pieces out and I went, are you, insert expletive of choice here, kidding me? And Adam was like, are you all right? And I was like, I bought such a nice jersey. It was not cheap. However, there is a silver lining. It's a lovely jersey to wear. It's really nice to work with. So I have managed to get easily a Vicky Sews Andy out of it.
Perfect.
So I have cut that out. It's under the desk. And this weekend, I'm going to sew it up, I think. Just because the last Andy took me a couple of hours, 3 hours-ish. So, and now I have like a light coloured one as well, which is quite nice for the spring.
Nice.
What about you?
So I have started my sleeve exploration. I've already done 2 sleeves. Ooh. I'm about to do my 3rd one. So I used the Twig and Tail Vista top. which I love. Really nice, simple top, but beautifully shaped. Lovely details about how you finish the facing to make it stay on the inside. Love it. Never seen it like that before. Lovely instructions. And I bought, do you remember I talked about buying that sleeve expansion pack?
Yes, yes, I do.
I've dived in already. So I made one top with the sleeve that came with it. I've already made a second version with one of the sleeves in the expansion, and I'm about to make a third version with a different sleeve. The one I've just made had a really tiny little sleeve bit that was like a plain sleeve at the top, and then this beautiful pleating, and then it sort of ballooned out, and then you pleated it again at the cuff. It was gorgeous. I've never seen a sleeve like it with this very small sleeve cuff piece at the top. I'm about to do the third one now. So yes, I've already started on my sleeve exploring. So
which she's phrased much better than her trouser pursuit.
Yes.
Which I'll never let you live down. To be fair, she pursued a lot of different trouser patterns and she won. So I cannot wait to see what you do with sleeves. Do you know what I think we should do? Next Christmas, I think we should retake the sleeve quiz, but I'll ask you the questions this time. We'll see how many sleeves you've made this year.
Interesting, yeah.
I think we should do it.
I'm up for that.
I reckon Sarah and I could come up with some decent sleeve questions based on your year of sleeves.
I'd be like, mastermind level. My specialist subject is sleeves.
Oh my God, please do that. I would absolutely live for you going on Mastermind and Jeremy Clarkson being like, because he hosts it now, being like, what's your specialist subject? And you being like, sleeves.
It's not Jeremy Clarkson. Who is it? It's some guy. He's got a very reassuring voice. I can't think of his name. So, are you ready for me to wind you up with this comment?
I mean, always.
Okay.
But also, I will do my best to stay level-headed enough to censor my language. Carry on.
So I saw this just before Christmas. I'm in lots of Facebook groups. I just need to caveat, I'm not a big fan of Facebook. However, because of the podcast Facebook group and my Sewing Social Facebook group, and knowing that for some people that's their only social media, I do visit it. I would rather not, but I do. And I'm in some sewing groups because it's helpful to see what people are sewing and asking, because when I'm thinking about what YouTube episodes to make, if I know what questions people are asking, sometimes it gives me inspiration. So anyway, this lady, I shall not name her because I haven't asked her permission to share this, wrote the following. I have made a pledge for 2025 that all sewing related videos on YouTube that do not state what they are making, I will not watch. I will unsubscribe any sewing channels I follow if they do not state their make. We must be the only subject that can get away with not stating what you're going to watch. I spent a whole hour just to scan quickly through pages to the end to see what the finished product is. I understand that they do this for followers, but it doesn't work. Rant. That was what somebody posted in a UK Sewing for Beginners group.
So I think there's a lot to it. Now I'm not as annoyed as I am the first time. Well, obviously I'm furious. It's more, no, I think being very serious, I think there's a couple of things to unpack here. Firstly, if the vlog is them making the thing, then you're going to watch them making the thing, firstly.
So it would probably you'd have the word sew along in it or something like that, wouldn't
exactly.
it? Yeah,
and also, the nice thing about YouTube is you can skip forward and back. If you're the kind of person who reads the last page of every book you've ever picked up, by all means, skip on through to the end. Secondly, it is putting a huge onus on someone else to create exactly the content you want. And I think there's an interesting idea there about it's not perfect for me. Why do they do this? It must be for another reason, like it's for followers or whatever. And it's like, well, maybe, but I mean, often that's just the vlog they're doing. But also this idea that every vlog has to be making something as well, which many of us aren't. Sometimes you're just chatting, having a nice time. But above all, let's just remember, this is not, for most of us, our jobs.
Yeah.
We're chatting about sewing to people who like sewing. It's really not that deep. Like,
no.
And I don't know, I think it puts a huge amount of stress on other people that you don't need to do.
For most people, what they're accessing on YouTube is free.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of that's my biggest objection to this comment, is it's almost like a customer service complaint. Well, if you'd paid for it and then someone didn't offer what they said they would for the money, then you would have a right to say, this is not what I paid for. But most people have not paid for what they're watching on YouTube. So
hacked off about this every single time this comes up in every single format, and every time I post something on Instagram along the lines of, it is not my job to make exactly what content you want to see. None of this is my job. I'm having a nice time. I don't owe you. Like, I remember I had exactly the same thing a few years ago where an American Instagrammer, who shall remain nameless, basically did a big post because the Love to Sew podcast was like, what don't you love on Instagram? What are your gripes? What are your pet hates? And it grew into something really quite unpleasant. And then an Instagrammer basically carried that on her account for reasons that I frankly can't fathom. But whatever, you do you. But so many of the comments were, if people don't tell me the exact adjustments they made on their post, then I won't follow. If people don't tell me exactly what they made, what size they are, what their measurements are, and you're like, hold on a minute. If I'm posting a photo of a dress that I'm really happy with, and I just say, I'm really happy with my new dress, do I owe you any of that information? No, because it's my account that I'm going to post whatever I like on.
If they paid for your account to have access to it, that would be different. But I need to read you what one of the people said as a comment, and I'm only going to read a part of it.
Okay, right.
And the person said, I don't feel that unsubscribing itself will help. So I thought this person was going on a good place here, but then when I feel the authors need to be made aware of how we feel. Therefore, I do feel a polite comment as to why one is unsubscribing, so the author has the opportunity to correct the situation on his or her video.
I'm so sorry. What?
I know. I was like, I didn't think it could get any worse.
Sweetheart,
and then
you don't have to announce if you're leaving.
I'm like,
this is not an airport. You don't have to tell us.
Again, you haven't paid for this, so you don't need to say, I'm sorry, your service is not good enough, I'm not continuing with this product. There's so much on YouTube. It's okay if this is not for you. And I think Jess and I made a note that one of the phrases I think we might have lost Jess. I'm going to keep ranting for a minute.
No, I'm here.
One of the phrases we sort of put down for the notes of this episode was unpalatable or being palatable. And actually, as Jess and I probably very often say, there is something out there for everyone, and it's okay if the thing that you see or look at isn't for you, because you can go and find something else. But we don't need you to announce that this isn't for you, which is what these people seem to think that people would want to do. There's a few more comments. So someone went, completely agree, great idea to unsubscribe. Well, as both of us are YouTubers, I really don't want people subscribed to my channel who are not going to watch, because it's like, it's okay if you're not enjoying it. I'm okay with that, because this is me, and it's okay to unsubscribe, but I don't need you to announce you're leaving the room, I think.
No, again, if it was a paid product, getting that kind of feedback is helpful, but when it's someone just talking about the nice things they've made and what they're going to make in February, it's beyond unnecessary. I also think it's really interesting because it's not an airport. You don't have to announce you're leaving.
No.
And also, I'll be honest, most of the people who do leave polite comments like that, they're not polite. They make the YouTuber feel really horrible.
Yeah.
Because they don't come across, however you think they're coming across is not how they come across. I've had some really unpleasant comments in my life on YouTube, particularly when actually not when I started. There was a sort of weird middle period where I think I just found the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like in the wrong algorithm. And I remember they used to upset me. You're unsubscribing. As Sam says, it's okay. We are totally self-aware enough to know our content is not for everybody. And we don't mean that in an exclusive sense. Some of you will love us. Some of you will find me infuriating and adore Sam. Some of you will not like either of us. Like, that's okay. That's totally fine. But what I would strongly encourage you not to do is leave what you think is a polite but realistically always comes across as a snarky comment that might stop someone ever vlogging again.
Yeah. And
because that's the reality of it.
I really upset people, and we both know vloggers who it has made them think, do I want to keep going? And that's really sad. And I think the thing is, we've almost got spoiled in today's society with how much we can access for free. And sometimes we forget that it is for free, and that's different from paying for something. And I think also, like, I did a vlog around sort of just after Christmas, I think it was, called Sewing Patterns I Can't Live Without. So it's really clear I was going to name the patterns. Someone put in a comment, but you didn't teach us how to sew anything. And I replied and went, did you misunderstand the title of this episode? What was you expecting? I literally asked, what was you expecting from a title that said Sewing Patterns I Can't Live Without? I did put that.
Yeah.
And by the way, in that vlog, I did show the pattern and then the items I'd made with that pattern. So it's not like I just talked about patterns.
No, but even then, if you had, still well within the description of the video.
Exactly.
YouTube is a strange place.
I think what's more strange is this strange sense of, I don't know how else to put it, than privilege that free content is, I don't know, that people want feedback if they haven't asked for it. Now, I want to caveat it with, sometimes we will ask for feedback, whether that's on Instagram, YouTube, or like we've done with our members and everyone out there. I know hardly anyone's filled it in, but we did make a feedback form because Jess and I wanted to hear, and I will put it again in the show notes of this, there are things we genuinely want to know what people think. So when someone opens themselves up, that's saying we welcome your thoughts. If someone does I think you've done recently in the YouTube community, you've asked people to vote on what to do. So that you're welcoming thoughts on that.
Which is great, because that's what I do when I'm sat at home going, oh God, I actually don't know what to do. What do they want to see? Because I want to film something today. But I think you're right. I think when we open ourselves up for feedback, by all means, dive on in. But unsolicited feedback, I remember one vlogger for a while kept getting weird medical feedback about her thyroid, which is so inappropriate.
Yeah,
it's like, you're not her doctor, you know nothing about her beyond that she likes sewing and what she's talking about. And I think it's difficult because I don't want to sound like I'm being like, we love our subscribers and we love our communities.
I think it's this misconception about free labour,
recognizing it's free labour, but also it's this weird thing people do, which is called hate. I don't know if you've heard of it, hate following, where they don't like someone, but they follow it because every time they see their thing, they're like, oh, it really annoys me. Why are they there? Follow, just because I did the same. No, just don't. You just don't need to tell us. Exactly. Well, Instagram's the same.
Yeah.
It's
what I would say.
I don't know. I think.
There's two philosophical things I think come out of this for me, which is we fully advocate curate your feed, whether that feed is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever it is. Unfollow what isn't for you, because there's no point every morning opening up something and things irritating you. And also, I choose to have things that educate me, so I watch things and I follow accounts on Instagram that keep me learning new things and keeping my mind open. But as Mel Robbins, who's recently written a book, I don't know her, I say that like I do, I don't, has written a book recently called Let Them. It's amazing. She did a post.
I've had this on my list to look at because I think it's one of the most powerful things you can do is just go, like, and I very much get encouragement for this from my husband, who is the most placid human alive. And when people comment stuff, not so much anymore because I have been doing this 5 years. So I'm a bit more, not that I wasn't hard-skinned before, but now I really don't care. But before I'd be like, oh, this person said this on YouTube. And he'd be like, a randomer on YouTube has said, how weird. Why are they spending so much time commenting? That's so weird. And I'm like, he's so right. Why are they choosing to spend their free time? It really is. What you actually need sometimes is not someone to say, oh, that's awful. How fucking weird. And I was like, right? Because that's what I want. I want someone else to look at this and go, that's really weird. Like, why are they wasting their time? But I don't know, I think it's hard. I think as well, you're right. There is a free labour expectation, particularly when it comes to, you didn't film that so long from precisely the angle I need to see so that it can help me. So this is what we have. As you can tell, I just don't care very much anymore. But I love my community. And I love the comments from people who watch. And, they're great.
And I think we need to take a jazz hand minute for the fact that I did Vlogmas for the first time this year and managed every day and wasn't crying at the end.
Oh my God, I don't know how you did that. I had to give up.
I wasn't trying to like cast
because it
shade
was just
on
too
you there.
much.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, no. Like I got further than I did a few years ago. I don't think Vlogmas is the format for me. I might do it in reel form next year.
That would be interesting.
Because I can do a daily reel quite easily.
And
my reels, reels and YouTube Shorts did better as well.
And I'd have to come up. If I'm going to do it again, I will have to think of something different about it, because I thought a lot about this year's one, and I get bored if I do things that are too similar, which is why I never managed to stick at an exercise class, because once I've done the same thing 3 times, I get bored. One lady did comment on one of my vlogs after Vlogmas going, "I'm so glad all of Vlogmas is over." She wasn't directing it at me. Someone else replied and went, "I loved Vlogmas." So it's, but I think.
But
back to
hang on, can we stay on that for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the exact problem. And I was going to say this a minute ago and then my feed cut out. The problem with thinking your opinion needs to be announced is everyone thinks the same. And you get upset that people don't take your opinions on board. But I would like to remind you of, and some of the comments were like, some of them would go, "I hate it when they don't give me every single detail and the size they make." And then they were, "I hate it when they give me every detail and the size they make. I don't care what size you are." And you're like, these are back to back. And you're like, you see why we can't put too much store by this, right?
Yeah. Well,
and then it's, I love people with intros. I hate people with intros. I love people who talk to their whole community. I hate people who talk to me like they know me. And you're like,
and I love it when people wave. I don't like it. I agree with you.
The waving thing, I passive aggressively put in a reel because I was like, I'm waving. Hi.
Yeah. But I think it's a thing that I had to learn a very long time ago, like in education, in that if you go chasing after pleasing everyone, you're just going to end up displeasing everyone, including yourself. And I think that's the thing about the Mel Robbins book, this Let Them. And I was at a really interesting talk last week about SUMO, which stands for Shut Up, Move On. If you haven't looked into it, Google it. It's really, really good. And at one point she talks about the beach ball, and she holds the beach ball up in the middle of the room, and she asks someone on the right, "What colours can you see?" And they're like, "I can see the blue and the green bit." And then she asks someone on the left of the room, "What can you see?" "I can see an orange bit and a yellow bit." And she said, "Hang on a minute, you're saying it's orange and yellow, you're saying it's green and blue." And then she turns the beach ball, she rotates it vertically, and then suddenly everyone can see the whole picture. And she's like, most of the time, we mustn't forget we're only looking at our perspective, not other people's. But, this sort of shut up, move on, let them thing is, some people will love Vlogmas, some people will hate it. And if we, as individuals, chase trying to please everyone, we'll always be disappointed. And as Mel Robbins says, she was talking about Christmas and saying, at Christmas, your sister might be in a grump. It's not our job to fix it. She's a grown adult, and so on. And this kind of thing that we can care, but also let someone be where the state they're in at the same time. And I think that, the sewing community is wonderful and fantastic, and I love it. But all it takes is a couple of people, like you say, and that cause that whole big furore around that, like, what do we hate the vloggers do thing. And it's back to that curate your feed. If something's not for you, that's okay, but just don't watch it or don't follow it, because it could well be for someone else. And that's why there's so much choice, because there's something. And it's the same as we often feel like we're sort of on the outside because we're not sewing the dress or the jumper that is the thing.
And it's difficult as well, because even if we do, we often have opinions on it.
But
sometimes it's, "Oh my God, I love this," or "What the actual fresh hell is this?" But there is a pressure to be exactly what everybody needs us to be at all times, and to share an opinion as if there's one to go round. And that's not something you or I react to very well. I do not react well to being told to be palatable, because I won't be.
And I think it's partly why you and I get on quite well, is that actually neither of us are scared to not be liked. And I'm not saying there's other people who want, I'm not casting any thoughts on anyone else, but you and I are not worried about that. That's interesting about both our characters, isn't it?
No.
But I think that
I can honestly say it doesn't bother me too much.
No. And I think that,
it would bother me much more to be liked for being someone I'm not.
Me too.
That would bother me.
One of my biggest fears is not being my authentic self and being like people misinterpreting me. I really don't like that. And I think
the unhappiest I've ever been, as you say, is when you're not being your authentic self.
And it is a constant battle. It's a constant battle as women in a very capitalist society to not be constantly trying to squeeze into that acceptable, palatable box. I think that goes back to those trousers don't do anything for you thing, isn't it?
And it comes back to what did I say to you when you said that to me? Unless they do the dishes for you, I don't give a what they do. Yeah. Like, it's not what they do for you. And We're not getting into the phrase what they do for you.
So how do we bring this round to sewing? Well, first of all, I would say that the messages we take from this is if you sew yourself a pink pair of barrel-legged trousers and you are joyful and happy in them, let other people not love them, because that's okay. You didn't sew them for them. And you wear them, do you? If you're not loving the newest release pattern, there's nothing wrong with you, because there's loads of other patterns out there that you might love that you can choose from. So let them. If they're enjoying it, let them go for it. Yeah. Don't feel the pressure
but equally,
to need to buy that pattern.
Well, equally, let them be wrong about you. Because, for example, people online will cast aspersions on you because they see, as Sam has very eloquently explained with the beach ball, they see a slither of your life. Now, that's not to say they actually know anything about who you are, what you like. You might develop a lovely community that knows you well, but there are always going to be those people who pop into your comments who've seen one bit of your content that's popped up on their For You page, and they go, oh my God, why have you done that?
Or for many of our listeners, real people in their lives as well, that might say that when they sew something.
God, yeah. I mean, I have had snarky comments because recently I did a vlog on jersey patterns for people who don't like jersey. Because I am I don't really like jersey. It's one of my most... I like certain jersey patterns. I just don't like most jersey. It's just not me. You know me. I like a fairly classic wardrobe, and it's quite hard to find.
Well, don't you worry, it's on my list for this year. I'm going to find you some.
Well, I do like a knit, I've discovered, like an actual, feels like a jumper knit. I get on better with that. But I did this vlog, and in it I also explain why I don't like jersey, and there's a number of reasons. I don't necessarily like the texture of standard cotton jersey. It makes my skin... I think it's my skin's a bit dry. I don't know. I just don't like it at all. I don't like the way it feels on my skin. And there's a variety of other things like that are genuine reasons. It's not that, I don't like jersey because it's all childish or whatever. It is difficult to find non-super bright pattern jerseys, but that's another thing. It's because I genuinely don't like it. And I got quite a few comments going... Firstly, I had a few comments going, oh, thank God it's not just me. And I was like, no, welcome. You are so welcome here. But I also got a few comments and private messages saying, you don't need to defend that you don't like it. And I was like, do you know what? A rational person would think that. Do you know how many messages I get? How many snarky messages I get or comments or something? I just delete them straight away that say, oh, well, why don't you like jersey? It feels like you're just making it a thing.
I tease you about it, but I've never said you should.
Of course not, because I don't come around to your house and say, Sam, you don't have enough black jumper dresses in your wardrobe. I
challenge you to find one.
I challenge you to find less than 4 in my wardrobe.
I did buy some black fabric to make some black trousers the other day, I'll have you know.
Are you okay? You all right?
Well, I've got a lot of lovely coloured tops.
If you're okay.
Yeah, it's been held hostage, yeah. I was shopping under duress, yeah.
That's going to be her if she's ever in a hostage situation. She has to call me. That's what she has to say to know she's not okay.
If I win the lottery, I won't tell you, but there's clues, and you see people with a room full of cats or whatever. Mine is not if I win the lottery, there's clues. Mine is if I've been held hostage, there's clues. I would buy black fabric. If Jess is held hostage...
It's one of my best friends. Oh, no, on you go.
I was going to say, if Jess is held hostage, she would buy a novelty print jersey.
Yes, yeah. I'd buy 3 meters of it and propose to make some kind of matching set.
Yeah.
That's a cry for help, sort of Britney style. But yeah, no, one of my best friends, everyone has their thing like that. She only wears black jeans when she was like really exhausted and burnt out at work. And everyone was like, oh, is it like a comfort thing? And she was like, no. And then she looks at me and I go, no, it just means she hasn't got through her washing because she spent too much time at work. So that's when the black jeans. So everyone has a thing like that I love. But
on the subject of jeans, I've done a thing.
Oh yeah, tell me.
It's not a sewing thing, but it feels like a weird confession. I've ordered a pair of jeans from Marks and Spencer's. Now, as a non-jeans wearer...
so I have two thoughts here. Firstly, tell me how they go, because M&S jeans are actually meant to be really good. But secondly, why?
So, I can't actually remember the last time, apart from swimming costumes, that I bought a brand new item from anywhere. I mean, I can remember when I've bought like pieces of clothing from charity shops, but I can't actually, and that's not me bragging, it's just that's the reality, as I can't remember.
Yeah, you just don't shop very often.
No, and I do buy stuff from Marks and Spencer's. Like I bought my mum like a bag for Christmas from there, and just, you know, and stuff and underwear. So I have the app on my phone, and I just happened to open it the other day because I was getting something else for someone, and it popped up with like their new in, and they were like a wide leg, soft, pleated front jean, and I was like, oh
my God.
And they sat in my basket for a couple of days, and I was like, I just need to see. I was just like, it sort of captured me in a way that meant I'm just so curious about them. So yes, I've got to go and collect them. They've arrived. I've got to collect them tomorrow. So I've bought.
That's exciting.
When I used to buy clothes, M&S jeans were my go-to because they do a short leg.
Yes, they do. The same reason I get my jeans from Hollister, because they do a really good short leg, but they do a curve hip in the short leg in a straight size. Good. So I can get jeans that fit my bum and my waist and my leg size, which is either be no mean feat, really.
The best thing ever or peak disappointment, I think.
Well, I wish you so much luck.
I will send you a message and or possibly a picture once I've got them on.
You will definitely send me a picture and or message regardless. I want to see what they look like. I have to say though, I also bought a pair of M&S trousers. Okay guys, this is where we've sunk to with the podcast.
I'm not even sewing anymore without shopping.
Well, no, but you'd be really proud of me. So I bought them in the sale.
Nice.
And I bought them for several reasons. Firstly, I bought them in the Christmas sale. Would you like to know when I first saw them?
Ooh, in the summer?
Well, no, they're velvet. Okay. So I saw them in September when I came to meet you for dinner.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That is when I saw them. And I was thinking about them consistently for 4 months, to the point where I went, shall I see if they're in the sale? And there were one pair left in my size, and they are tailored velvet trousers, zip fly, real pockets.
What colour?
Short leg. They're like a sort of petrol green.
Nice.
Yeah,
they sound amazing.
They're so gorgeous. They fit me like a glove. They're a straight leg, so they're not super tight, but they're like slightly tapered. And again, real pockets, proper zip closure, proper like fly zip and a button over. They fit, they're beautifully fitted. And I just thought, I have a test, and I thought I'd share this with our listeners. I have a test for if I'm going to buy something. So first thing is, would it cost me more to make it? Could I make it as well or better? And could I fit it as well as this fits? Because when it comes to tailoring, that is a whole skill in itself. And at this point, I had spent 3 months sewing velvet bridesmaids dresses, and I never wanted to touch velvet ever again, let alone do a full pair of tailored trousers in it. And it's like they're like crushed velvet. So if you sew that wrong, you get one go. They are stunning. But I was really proud of myself for going, do you know what? I'm going to make a mature decision here. They're in the sale for a third of what they should be. I've wanted them for ages. I'm going to get loads of use out of them because they're great for conferences, for teaching, for all sorts of stuff. Why don't I just give myself a little treat?
A very considered, quite proud sustainable purchase, I would say. I would say that was not a fast fashion purchase there, yes, was it?
So like for me, that's what not shopping as much looks like. Because I go into like H&M and I go, no, I can make that. I can make that in 3 seconds cheaper, and it wouldn't have so many open seams and poor pattern matching, you know?
And also not take advantage of the poor person making it as well.
Well, exactly. I mean, that goes as red, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think we've got a whole episode coming up talking more about ready to wear, haven't we? Because
yes, we do, and I can't wait for that, because my plan was to do a little wardrobe clear out before that episode. So I could talk a little bit about so I could remind myself what ready to wear I have as well, and talk about it a bit more.
Wow.
So we've had a lovely chat. This has been thoroughly enjoyable.
It's been a good start back to season 3, I think. If you are new to the podcast, you've now got a taste of Jess and I. You might want to go back and listen to the others to get to know us a bit more.
We also do love you all.
Yes,
but if you don't want to listen, don't feel free to not tell us.
And what I would say is, if you are one of our newer listeners, I can assure you that some of our episodes are much meatier in sewing content. But what people seem to like, and what we do guarantee, is that you'll always get something that we get our teeth into talking about. It might just not be talking about how to sew a bust dart, you know.
No, this is not. We will talk about, so season 3, little summary of what we talk about. We talk about our favourite patterns. We talk about sewing fails. We talk about fitting problems, not in a technical way, but in an oh my God way, which is still a vibe and you'll enjoy it. We also talk about biscuits, films we've seen, stuff we've watched, stuff that's annoyed us, a la today's episode. We talk about a range of stuff, but our point is not to necessarily educate, but it absolutely is to entertain. So
entertain and inspire thought. So hopefully someone will go away, read the Mel Robbins book now, and it will help enrich them, letting go of other people's perceptions. Exactly. That's my dream.
Now, if you do enjoy the pod, what we would love is for you to leave us a review on whichever podcast platform you listen on. As there are so many negative commenters out there in the world, we would love some lovely positive comments on the pod. So please do rate, review, subscribe, share with your sewing friends. And also, as your homework from this week, we'd love you to tell us on Instagram, tag us and tell us where you listen to us. Because I was astonished to find out someone listened to me on a run. So what's the weirdest place you've listened to the pod?
Love to know that. And also, my challenge for season 3 is, can we persuade people who don't listen to podcasts to listen? Because I think there are people out there. Jess and I are always recommending podcasts to people, not just our own. But I think that you may all know somebody who is missing out on listening to great podcasts. So see if you can convert someone. I'm still trying to convert my other half. I'm working on it. I don't want him listening to me telling everyone about his secrets. But yeah, let's see if this season we can convert people to listen to podcasts who haven't before. That's my mission.
Absolutely. And we want you to fill in the feedback form and also share your stories with us. You can send us an email at sewnewbiscuit@gmail.com. You can fill out the form that is going to be linked in the episode description and is over on Instagram as well. Tell us your embarrassing stories, your sewing fails, all anonymous. But if
and
you
your
want
rants, if something irritates you, we'd love to know what irritates you.
It would be great to know I'm not the only person who gets immensely irritated by a huge number of things. So I should say, by the way, I'm not an angry person.
No, you're definitely not an angry person.
I just get irritated.
But you can go a long time without irritating you, but I know how to irritate you. It's almost like I'm like some circus ringmaster who knows when to provoke you to get you going.
Do you know what? I think what you can always guarantee from me is quite an eloquent rant about something.
Yeah. I spend my life looking for things to go, ooh, if I put that in front of Jess,
that'll annoy her.
On that note of knowing I spend my life thinking of ways to annoy Jess, we'll see you in episode 2.
Let's not speak again for a week.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.